Enima Enimado is here with our NSMQ update. So, Enima, where do we start? Accra Academy or Tepa?
St. John's Grammar School. How about that? So they won yesterday in their contest. Tepa SHS also won in their contest, and Accra Academy won as well. Today is an amazingly exciting day. We have, oh my God, we have three major contests. So we have Atebubu going against Laboni SHS, going against Prempeh College, and then we have Presby SHS in Kwetia going against Achimota School, going against St. Thomas Aquinas SHS, and then we have Breman Esikuma SHS going against Akwemumman SHS and Wesley Girls High School. So very exciting this morning.
Okay, very exciting. So our sons and the ladies are competing today. Prempeh College, you have our support. Those your fathers from France.
And between Achimota and Kwenas, I can't decide.
I met the young lady from Achimota when we went there, and she seems so delightful. I think my support goes to her. Salma.
Yeah, she said just let us win. Somebody has to win, so just let us win.
So
and of course, Wesley Girls will be, winning today as well.
Against
and then facing St. Thomas Aquinas and Prempeh College in the next stage. So we look forward to that.
So
moving on, I think you should do the headlines.
And that is also perceived a very great contest. I mean, clearly.
Okay, let's not say
how
anything.
can that be possible?
let's not say
anyway.
You let's not say anything. But next week, like I said to Professor Kwesi Kwafo Adakwa when I met him yesterday at the National Development Forum, I'm inviting all of you for lunch next week Tuesday at the RS Amegashi Auditorium. I'm having Augusco for lunch, so you guys can come. Yeah, let's do the front page.
This man is correct. Let's start with the Chronicle newspaper. Front page stories of the Chronicle newspaper. After sale of assets, Wayomi to face criminal charges. That's Deputy Attorney General Godfrey Diabo Adame hinting. Paramount Chief bans fishermen from fishing. 300 ambulances coming, and judge dissents on police for delaying fingerprint results.
Now, the Gulf Street Business is reporting this morning banks' credit stance to tighten in coming months, banks shifting from loan to investments, and there's Data Protection Commission. They are beginning their compliance enforcement next week. Possible prosecution of culpable institutions to follow.
The Ghanaian Observer, it is a Wayomi morning on the front pages of the newspapers. Wayomi in trouble. Supreme Court orders sale of his properties, faces possible criminal charges for collusion. Other stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Observer. Napo sues NDC Sami Jemfi for defamation. We have no concession in Kalakpa Game Reserve. That's McDonald saying, and MPP reversing Ghana's corruption tag. That's MPP's international relations boss, Emmanuel Atifa Danso, saying.
Now, the Herald is reporting this morning, speakers of Africa must be smart and knowledgeable. That's called Chichenerensi. There's one about 33 million Ghana cedi missing at the Ghana Exim Bank.
There's one story on the front page of the new Weekend Crusading Guide newspaper, Torture Home Part 1, where a man of God decides to kill in an orphanage when your savior is the enemy. That's the story on the front page of the new Crusading Guide newspaper.
The Finder is reporting this morning cocoa flour price faces sabotage. Ghanaian farmers are clashing with World Cocoa Farmers Organization, and the manufacture of 300 ambulances are nearing completion. The Supreme Court orders Wayomi sales asset sale, and that's on the front page. There's a caution from the Asantehene to any attempt to do bauxite mining. He insists it should be responsible and sustainable.
The Daily Statesman newspaper, Ghana secures 1 billion to boost water projects. The Wayomi story is here as well. Supreme Court ordering asset sale to defray 51.2 million debt. I don't know if it's still 51. He paid 4 million in 2016. So it should be 47 now, not 52.
Now, the Daily Guide is reporting this morning, Wayomi is there, but government recruits Mahama nurses and JB killer. Saying, according to Doctor, and Napo is suing Sami Jemfi, and Napo is Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Education Minister.
The Daily Graphic newspaper front page, Beige CEO others dragged to court over 1 billion cedis debt. Parliament gives tax exemption to one district, 1F investors. Wayomi is featuring prominently on the front page of the Daily Graphic. Back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Foxes devour Taranga Lions. Madagascar close to qualification. Can Atlas Lions devour the elephants? Question.
I think the question is also, can the team that could not devour the squirrel actually deal with the other one, the bigger animal?
Indomitable lions.
Indomitable lions.
You couldn't swallow squirrels. They are going to fight lions.
Okay, we'll
It
see.
is possible.
Prayer and fasting. Prayer and fasting.
Now, the Ghanaian Times actually has this on this front page. Upstream natural gas contracting processes lack transparency. This is according to Imani Ghana. And there's one about the Supreme Court ordering sale of Woyomi's access. This is the 7th headline on the 7th paper this morning.
I have told you that it is a Woyomi morning.
That's true. Now, Ghana is generating some $463,000 US from oil revenue.
Well, let's start with Woyomi, shall we? We know that the Supreme Court delivered its judgment yesterday in respect of properties of Woyomi to be sold. This matter dates back to 2016, precisely in April 2016, when the state attempted to sell off Woyomi properties to defray the money that he owes the state. The money that, according to the Supreme Court of Ghana, he was given, which he didn't deserve, that was wrongly paid to him. The Apex Court, ordered that money should be retrieved from him. The state, having taken several legal steps to try and retrieve that money, eventually arrived at a point where there was need to sell part of some of Woyomi's profits that had been identified by the state for sale. UT Bank at the time went to court saying that some of those properties had actually been sold to the bank because Woyomi had taken a loan from the bank and could not pay. The state went to court to challenge UT Bank's position on this matter. We know eventually UT Bank collapsed in 2017, but the receiver who took over the bank then decided to proceed with the case in court, seeking that these properties belonged to the bank, having been taken over by the bank on account of Woyomi failing to pay his debts, his loans that he contracted from the bank. But the Supreme Court eventually yesterday gave a judgment saying that the attempts by UT Bank, the claims that they made in court were a sham, and that there was collusion between the bank and Woyomi to try and frustrate the state's attempt to retrieve this money through selling the properties.
And Godfred Dami told us yesterday that they are considering actually prosecuting Mr. Woyomi and the receivers
for that collusion.
Let's listen to Alfred Agbeshi Woyomi, though, speaking to Raymond Dakwa on Upfront.
I have never vied for any political position. Can it be said that I don't have MPP friends who have benefited from me? The contract that we are talking about, whose regime was that?
John Kufuor's regime.
So then, I was the Vice Honorary Consul of Austria to Ghana. We were fine. But you people call me a thief. You said I have stolen money. I have taken government money. How do I take it? Am I a secretary to any account? If it's not by a court order? You, a lot of your journalists too, I was paying your fees. Many of you come to my house here. When the time comes, you sit on this TV and you say certain things. This is life.
You sit and you say certain things.
The people who have been going and taking money.
Malika, have you been to his house before?
Me, I don't even know where his house is.
Remember, you went to his house to interview him.
I actually made it very clear to him that I'm not one of those, and he stayed on record I wasn't. So
is this in the interview?
Please, it is in there.
Please stay tuned for Raymond Dakwa's vindication.
But the properties of Woyomi that are supposed to be auctioned to defray this amount are, the assets include 2 mansions at Trasacco. The 2 mansions at Trasacco, according to Godfred Dami, were valued. Each of them was valued at between $1.2 and $1.5 million. There are 2 houses there. And there are, apart from the Trasacco estate buildings, there's also a house at Pehe where he resides, an office complex at Anato Holdings, residential buildings at Abelenkwe, and a stone quarry in the eastern region.
Okay.
These are the things that are supposed to be auctioned according to the state to defray some of the costs. Godfred Dami told us yesterday that the total amount that they hope to realize from these assets is 20 million Ghana cedis. And from Monday, he said from Monday they will put a reserve price on these assets in preparation to auction them. That is what the court has ordered that they should do.
All right, let's move from Woyomi.
Yes, and to Monday I told you about this incident in Ejoso where a student of the Jabin Senior High School, that girl was actually killed, body parts taken away in a very bizarre mode. Now, yesterday, some young men in the area went into the shrine of a priest in that particular end. They believe that this juju man, who is from Benin, actually is responsible for this particular killing and 3 others that's happened in the last 3 weeks.
Really?
So that's what they believe. And because of that, they actually set ablaze the man's entire residence. But for the intervention of the fire service, 2 children of the man who were in the building would have actually been killed in the process. So the fire service came in early. They were able to quench the fire, and later on they were able to retrieve the kids. The kids are receiving treatment in the hospital. The police also decided to come in. They didn't arrest anybody as we speak, but although the caution was that the youth should stay away from these sections. And I was expecting that as we have moved on and we have been mindful of mob justice in times past, incidents like this will not happen. Imagine, and let's think about it for a second. You allege spiritual reasons for the killing. You've not adduced any evidence to the relevant security institutions to support this claim. Assuming that you are even right, how are you going to prove that the man actually conducted this exercise spiritually?
By burning the place.
Yes.
How are you going to prove it? By burning the place.
When evidence was supposed to be gathered from the same place.
The same place.
When you have been told police had actually started investigations into this particular act. So, I mean, it's a terrible act by some of the young people within that area. Sometimes of course, they are angry that these incidents have been happening all the time. I just hope that the security, the relevant security agents also live up to the tax, so that they don't give reasons for people to act in such an abnormal form.
In your anger, do not sin.
Yeah.
In your anger, do not.
But there is mob mentality amongst the general populace.
And I don't know what we want to achieve by behaving like that. Anyway, let's go to the Beige CEO.
Yeah, so the founder and chief executive of Beige Bank and 12 of his, and I'm talking Michael Nyineku, and 12 of his subsidiaries have been dragged before court. And this is because the receiver of Beige Bank, Ni Amanodudu, believes that there was some 1 billion Ghana cedis that was not properly applied, that he's seeking to retrieve this amount of money by going to court. Now, he filed a writ in court. This is a writ filed by his lawyer, Mr. East Ananankuma, and he's accusing the CEO, Michael Nyineku, of breaching his duties as a director of the bank and engaging in unlawful activities which led to massive losses of Beige Bank. Now, according to the writ that was filed in court, he supervised and unlawfully instructed the payment of hundreds of millions of Ghana cedis to his cronies and subsidiary companies without due diligence. Now, when we talk about the fiduciary obligations or duties of a director, we know them to include the director has a duty to act in good faith and act in the best interest of the company, avoiding conflict of interest, and of course, in some instances, declaring secret profits and not exceeding the powers of the company, amongst others. These are the fiduciary duties that directors of companies have. The case against Michael Nyineku and the others in this writ filed at the High Court is that he breached many of these fiduciary duties, and those breaches led to the loss of about 1 billion Ghana cedis, and this is the amount of money that they are seeking to retrieve from him.
And there are 160 cars.
Yes, there are 160 cars. There are landed properties. There are 10 landed properties and about 165 cars and equipment which they believe were acquired with funds from the defunct bank. And the properties include residential buildings at Trasako, East Legon, and other properties scattered across Accra and Kumasi in the Ashanti region. And let me just quote one of the writs that they are seeking. They are seeking an order of perpetual injunction restraining all the defendants from selling, disposing of, or dealing with the assets identified by the plaintiffs and any other acts. And I just mentioned the properties that they have listed, 165 cars, 10 landed properties across Accra and Kumasi.
All right, let's move from that subject, Raymond.
Now, there is a final determination on the sanity of Sexy Don Don. And if you don't know Sexy Don Don, he's Daniel Asiedu. Daniel Asiedu is the first person to have been arrested in connection with the killing of J.B. Danko Edu, the Abuaka North MP. Yesterday, the court ruled that after examining the medical doctor's reports, that is the psychologist that actually took the man through psychological evaluation, it's been determined clearly that the claims that he might not be in the right state of mind is not true. Now, let's make this clear. You need to be able to establish that the gentleman acted in the right frame of mind to be able to sustain the charge of a murder against him.
Of course.
So that is why they needed to establish that indeed he was in the right frame of mind. You know, I was in court the first day the man was taken to court. That argument about whether or not he was in the right frame of mind has always been through it, because some of the accounts was given sounded inconsistent. He seemed to have forgotten, maybe conveniently, some of the important details of what happened. And his lawyer, Augustine Obuo, who used to be a prosecutor in times past, indicated that he's dealt with people like this. He consistently has been dealing with this gentleman. He shows signs that not everything is right with him up there. But the psychological evaluation from Dr. Samuel Ohene concluded the matter, and the court has established that he can proceed to stand trial because he's in the right frame of mind. You know, he's actually standing trial with another gentleman, Junior Agogo in this case.
Yeah.
And they have said to have condoned and connived in committing the crime of murder in this particular man's house, and that's the former Ebuaka North MP. The other important detail that many would know is that they couldn't now start with the jury trial because there were only 9 members of the jury available. They could not do the selection. So July 11th is when they fixed as the final date for them to empanel a jury.
Okay.
You know that the case was discontinued and restarted again. The people were arrested for that to happen. At the point that they gone to the High Court and they're eventually done with the jury selection at that level too. So we hope to see how the case that's about to start finally will go.
We'll see how it goes. And this case, in this other case, Malik, a judge has descended on the police for delaying fingerprints.
Yes, this is Mrs. Akosua Anochua Ejepong. She is the presiding judge at the Tema TDC District Court. Now, her anger essentially is that the police are delaying in bringing a report. And the delay is simply that the person who is supposed to sign the report, the fingerprint report, is not there. And you know that this is not the first time this has happened. When they were supposed to take some saliva swipe, again there were problems that the person at the forensic lab had not been informed that they needed the report.
You remember the incident with the Major Mahama? And on several occasions, just having to bring us lab reports on that also became very problematic.
Yes. So is this all part of the wheels of justice grinding slowly?
Well, so the judge...
Someone is putting a spoke in the wheel.
The judge is completely upset. The judge actually gave the police 24 hours to bring the report. And the judge pointed out that if the person is not there, are there no deputies and others who are supposed to sign this report? Why are you delaying the court? You are taking 6 months to conduct investigations and bring a docket which would then be forwarded to the Attorney General's Department for advice before the trials begin. He said even at the national level, when the president is not there, the vice president is there. So he gave the police 24 hours. But the lawyer for one of the defendants rose to his feet and said he's making an intervention on behalf of the police, that the police may not understand and appreciate fully the ramifications of failing to meet the orders given by the court to produce the report in 24 hours. Therefore, the judge should relax the period a bit so that they can meet it. The judge, upon consideration, said, okay, I'm giving you 7 days to bring the report, not 24 hours.
Wait, the lawyer said that the police will not understand what it means.
That the police, he doubts that the police may be able to meet the 24-hour deadline. And if they are unable to meet it, there are consequences. And they may not appreciate the consequences. Therefore, he pleaded with the judge to try and relax the deadline given a bit. And so they were given 7 days instead of the 24 hours.
There's good news, and you should know about this particular good news. Now, a government delegation made up a representative for the Ministry of Special Development Initiative, Hawa, Mavis Yakubu, and others actually went to Turkey to go. Yes, of course. Hawa Mavis Kumsin.
You were saying Hawa Yakubu.
Okay, so Hawa Mavis Kumsin is the Minister for Special Development Initiatives. This ministry is the one implemented the 1 million per constituency program. You know that from 2017, we've already promised 275 ambulance. Now we are going to have the 275 being upgraded to 300. Now they went to Turkey to go and inspect the progress being made on that level. So the ambulance are not here yet. They are in Turkey. We sent a delegation there to go and see the progress so that by the end of the year, hook or crook, they would arrive and we can use them in the various ministries.
So we'll have 300 ambulances by the end of this year?
Yes.
Okay. So they say that they're going to take 6 months to complete?
Yes.
6 months?
Yes. And that's where government believes is nearing completion.
Okay, the online news review next is brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest and Goil Good Energy. Make your day productive by relying on quality fuel from Goil, 3-time CIMG Petroleum Company of the Year. Goil Super XP and Diesel XP are additivated to enhance strong engine performance and prolong the lifespan of your vehicle. Above all, you are guaranteed extra quality with our fuel analyzer from our mobile laboratory van. Get your money's worth every day by buying fuel and lubricants from any of Goil's over 360 service stations nationwide and experience good energy. Buy Goil. Go Ghana. Goil. Good energy. Goil. Yenara. Yedia. Now, when it comes to traveling with ease and comfort, Zenith Bank's wide array of MasterCard and Visa cards will help you do just that. You can conveniently use your Zenith MasterCard and Visa cards at over 33 million Visa and MasterCard branded ATMs worldwide. You can also use it on the internet for online purchases and payments, also in-shop for payments of goods and services at all Zenith Bank ATMs and on local and international POS or retail outlets that accept Visa and MasterCard. Sign up today, or if you already have one, use the Zenith MasterCard and Visa cards for a great travel experience. Go light with Zenith Bank. It's faster and smarter. Zenith Bank in your best interest. MyJournalline.com says the Finance Ministry compelled GNPC to expunge $50 million loan from its books. PIAC report. $4.8 billion Ningo Pram Plant City extension projects in the offing. Okay, the BBC.com says rescue efforts continue at DR Congo mine. We'll be right back. Stay with us.